Welcome back to Knowledge Work Nexus. In today's video, I'm going to continue the series that I'm doing on how to automate moving files in Obsidian. I didn't do a video to accompany the first part of this series, but if you do want to check out the article that goes with it, I will link that in the description below, along with a link to the article that accompanies this video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I work with the Auto Note Mover community plugin. In this video, I'm going to rely on just the core templates plugin. But if you want to check out my whole series on Templater and how to work with templates and Templater, be sure to check out the card that I'll link just above my head here. It is a good series, and you can certainly use Templater's amazing features with Auto Note Mover just as easily as you can the core templates plugin that we're going to focus on today. We're going to start out here in my demo vault. It just has 3 folders in it: the meeting notes folder, and that meeting notes folder has one subfolder in it for Kona, my one employee, a templates folder that we're going to add some templates into, and then a writing ideas folder that has 3 subfolders: 01 ideas, 02 drafts, and 03 published. We'll be working with some different notes and how we can automatically move notes into these folders originally and then between these folders as we change either tags or titles on these folders. To begin, we're first going to install the Auto Note Mover plugin from the Community Plugins area. So I'm going to come down here to the Vault settings, and I'm going to go to Community Plugins. This is a brand new vault, so I don't have anything turned on in this vault. I'm going to go turn on Community Plugins, and I'm going to browse, and I'm going to browse for auto. Let's see, it looks like I have to keep typing note. See, there we go. Auto Note Mover by Faru. This is the one we want here. So we're going to go ahead and click install, and then we're going to enable it. And we're going to come back to the options in just a second. Before we do that, though, I do want to make one other tweak to our settings, which is in the templates core plugin, because again, we are going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and set my template folder to templates here because I hadn't done that. So let's go back into Auto Note Mover to check some of its settings. There are 2 different ways that you can trigger Auto Note Mover. The default is automatic. The second one is manual. If you change to manual mode, so like this, you can move one note at a time by automatically triggering the command palette. So Command P on a Mac or Control P on a Windows machine. And when you do that, it will move that specific note that you're on. I like manual mode to get started when I'm specifically testing things. And so we'll use it for right now, but I run in automatic mode when I am actually using Auto Note Mover in my traditional vault. The next option that you can set is to use regular expressions to check for tags. Regular expressions are amazingly powerful. I am not an expert in them at all, and they're a little bit beyond the scope of what most people will need. So I'm going to ignore regular expressions here, but you can use regular expressions both in tags, or if you come down here, you can notice that you can also use them in titles. You don't have to use regular expressions in them, which we will cover in this video. The other thing that we want to do is exclude a folder. The folder that most people will want to exclude is their templates folder. What this allows you to do is to have tags or specific title structures in your template, and they won't get picked up by the Auto Note Mover plugin, especially if you have it on automatic mode. If you use templates at all, my guess is you're going to want to exclude the templates folder. There may be other reasons why you decided you want to exclude a folder. Maybe you're doing some research on something and you haven't decided what the specific tag structure might be, or you're trying to work through a workflow. That might be a good reason to exclude that folder for a little while if you're playing around with some tags. You can always come in and remove it. So if I wanted to remove this folder, I could do it like that, add in a new excluded folder, and I'll put templates back in there. So you can always change it. It's a good idea to exclude your templates folder for almost every case that I can think of. So now that we have set those 2 options, it's time to actually start using the Auto Note Mover plugin. In the article that accompanies this, I go straight into talking about rule order. I'll actually demonstrate that for you in the video. One of the benefits of watching the video is you get to see things happening live. And I think that's a concept that makes a lot more sense live. So if you came over here from the video and you want to see that, don't worry, I'm going to show it. but you're gonna have to keep watching to see that. So in the article that accompanies this, I give you the text of a couple of really simple templates. And the first one we're gonna start with is our writing ideas template. So let's go ahead here to our templates folder and create a new note. I just did that by right clicking on the templates folder and creating a new note. The beautiful thing about this is if you do use the templater plugin would actually automatically create a note with the right kind of template in that folder if you do that trick. It's another way to automate the placement of folders. It's not really automation in its most specific form, and it's why I'm not really covering it in this article series, but it is something to check out. And again, I do go through that, I'm pretty sure, in my templater series, and I will link to that again. So we're going to name this the writing ideas template. And then I'm just going to paste in the text that is included in the article that accompanies this. So I've just used 3 simple things in my YAML front matter. If you don't understand what YAML front matter is, or you don't want to use it, just delete this. No big deal. It's not going to hurt anything. And just start with this status and slash in your tag. We're going to use 3 separate tags along with this status tag to move notes from our writing ideas folder to our ideas folder, our drafts folder, and our published folder. So I'm treating the writing ideas folder as an inbox, and then O1 ideas is those articles that I'm going to actually work on maybe this week or this month. Drafts is where I put the article once I really start editing on it. And then published is where I put the article once I've actually published it or scheduled it to be published. So let's go ahead and look at what that looks like in the Auto Note Mover plugin settings. So I'm going to go back down to my settings and I'm going to come here to Auto Note Mover. It was already selected from the last time we were in here. So you can see we're already on it. If say you came in and you were on this, there's 2 ways to get to it. Actually, you can go to community plugins and you can click on the settings here. Or if you came in and you were there, you can just go straight down to the list of community plugins. All right. So we're going to come down here to the add new rule section. And we're going to want our ideas first to go into this writing ideas folder. And that is going to be any node that has status slash. So that one is very simple. And because this status already exists in a specific note, then it will show up here for us because we've used it before. Then I'm going to hit add to add another tag and another rule. And this one, I want to go into my ideas folder. And so for this one, I'm going to use that status slash. I'll notice there's a little note right up there at the top right corner that says this tag is already used. So it tells you you've done something you might not want to do here. So we're going to go ahead and do status slash ideas. And then I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to add another new rule and I'm going to put this into my drafts folder. And then we do status slash drafts, then click out. And then last but not least, I'm going to do published folder and I'm going to do status slash published. And I'll click off. Remember, we're still running in manual mode. So I'm going to show you how to actually trigger the Auto Note Mover plugin from manual mode when we try this out. So let's do that. We're in our templates folder. Let's go ahead and just close this and let's do a new note. And I'm going to call this Auto Note Mover article. And I'm going to go Command P and I'm going to ask for the templates. I want to insert a specific template. I only have one right now, and that is my writing ideas template. So notice that it added the template, but nothing happened. This article is still here in the root of my vault. But if I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to go Command P and I start to type in Auto Note Mover, notice there is an option to move the note. Let's go ahead and fire that. Let's just hit enter. And notice now my writing ideas folder has this Auto Note Mover article in it at the bottom. So it moved it from my root directory to basically the root of this writing ideas folder. Let's go ahead and add ideas here. And let's go to Command P and Auto again, and we will move the note. And notice when we come over here, it's now no longer in that root. And if I come here, it's now in the ideas folder. So this is an article that I'm planning to work on this week or this month. I'm actually recording it right now. So I've already done that work and I could keep moving it. If I want to move it through the rest of my folders, I could do drafts. And now when we come to ideas, oh, I have to fire it because it's manual. Sorry. I'm so used to my triggers being automatic. I'm going to move the note. And now when I come in here, you'll see it's gone from here and it's now in here. So you can see how that can move through my series. In this example, I'm just using one tag. I don't have a status tag and a topic tag, or maybe a status tag and a platform where I published it tag. Let's take a look at that. I didn't cover it in the article, but I think that this might actually be really interesting as an option. So when I move this into my published folder, I actually want to move it into a subfolder based on whether I published it on Medium or on my website. So let's go ahead and come in here to my move rules again. And let's add another rule. And let's go to writing ideas published Medium. And for this one, I'm going to add platform/medium. Oops. And what happened there, I think it's important to show this oops in the video. What happened there is I hit enter, and what it did was it selected a tag that already existed. And that is why I have been so diligent, and I just forgot in this situation, to click out of that tag editor rather than to hit enter, because that will happen too. I'm going to add one more of these, which is to put it into my website folder. So I'm going to do platform/website. And then I will click out to make sure that is not a problem. There we go. I've got my rules here. I've got the status rules here, and then the platform rules here. If I type platform/medium, which is where I'm going to initially publish this article, it should move it to my writing ideas folder. And let's go ahead while we're here. Let's go ahead and do that automatically. Okay? And that way we can see that benefit. So here's my article. I'm going to move it to published. And notice now, because I have automatic turned on, it automatically moved it to the published folder. You can see it right there. And then I'm going to move it to /platform/media. And nothing happened. And if I come over here, I can see it's still right there. Huh, I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because this one needs to be at the top since it was the second rule. Nope, not right. I could delete both of these. Of course, nothing will happen, even though I have auto note mover turned on. And if I type platform/medium, it will move it for just a second, but then watch what happens when I type status/published. It moves it back to the published directory. This is a really important element of the Auto Note Mover plugin, and that is the order in which you add things here in your note does not matter. The order that matters is the order that the rules are in here. That's the most important part, because I'm going to say I published it, and then I'm going to tell it which platform folder. I need these two writing idea rules to go above my published folder. So I'm going to move both of those up. So now the platform rules will process before the publish rule. Let's go ahead and close that and let's see that in action. So let's again delete both of those. And we can see it's in published. Let's even actually move it back to my writing ideas folder just so we can really see it. So let's go ahead and add that status/published. All right, now it's definitely in the published folder. I'm going to add platform/medium. And hopefully, there we go. It added it to that medium folder because I do have those rules in the right order now. So again, remember, it doesn't matter what order you type them here. It doesn't matter what order you originally add them here. It only matters what order the rules are in this list. That is the order of precedence if two or more rules apply to a specific note. So let's see how this works with a template where we are actually using the file's title as the. So I'm going to create a new template here, new note here. And one of the tricks that I use for templates is I actually type the format that I want the note's title to be in when I use it into the template. Give you a little preview of the next video in this series will be about quick add. The use of the title as something with the Auto Note Mover plugin works really well when you're using the Quick Add plugin. But again, you have to wait until the next article and video in this series to see that. So for right now, I'm going to just give myself the reminder of what I want this to say. All right. So the key word here, the key phrase here is going to be meeting notes. That's going to be my key phrase. So just like that last note, I've just got three things in my YAML front matter, an alias, the auto note mover function, and then this date created. I've got two things in my note template, discussion items and action items. A note on this auto note mover, you might wonder, what's that for? Let's say you don't want a note to be moved or affected by note mover. You would just type the word disable here, and that will keep that note from being moved. So if you want something to definitely stay in a specific folder, just type disable next to that auto note mover word, and that will keep that note in that folder no matter what rules might act on it from your auto note mover rules. We've got our template set up here, and let's go ahead and create our rule based on the phrase meeting notes in the title. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add another rule. I'm going to put notes into my meeting notes. And instead of a tag here, I'm going to use a title. And so the phrase I'm specifically looking for is meeting notes. Okay. And remember, if for some reason I happen to use any of these also in a note with meeting notes in it, meeting notes are going to be handled. Talk about that a little bit more as we work through a couple of examples here. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new note. And this is going to be 2023 0613 meeting with Kona RE, the onboarding project. There we go. And I'm going to go Command P, and I'm going to go to my template, and I'm going to insert a template, and I want this to be my meeting notes template. This is the big problem with using a file title, is that you got to get the words exactly right. I didn't. What's missing? The word notes. Now that I have meeting notes with Kona RE, the onboarding project, it found it. So you can fix it pretty easily. This is another reason, because I am terrible at doing this, why I like using file titles in combination with Quick Add, which I'll show you in the next video in this series. Good thing. So I'm going to add a couple of discussion items here. And then let's say we have our meeting, and then I'm going to add a couple of action items. Okay. So in my meeting notes folder over here, you'll see here is my 2023-0613 meeting note with Conan. That's this meeting right here. But what I really want is when I'm having a meeting with my employee. By the way, if you've watched this channel for very long, you might know Kona is my dog. So he is my only employee of my business, and he never gets the action items done except kisses and cuddles. He's very good at that. All right. So what I want is for this note to go into this folder. So I'm just going to add a tag here to the note once the note is done to move it into that folder, but I need to create that rule first. So let's go down here into my rule settings, and let's go to add, and we're going to move it to the Kona folder. And this is going to be meeting / Kona. There we go. All right, so you might already see the problem here because meeting notes is above meeting Kona, but we're gonna go ahead and just test it just to make sure that it works exactly as we want it. So my process is that I add it right at the top, and when I hit enter, I wait a second. Even though auto note mover is on, nothing happens. If I come in here to auto note mover, I can try to move the note, but it doesn't move. So what did I do wrong? We already know because our rule or order is off. So let's go ahead and move this rule up and keep that one there. And let's try auto note mover again to move the note. And that time it moved it into the Kona folder. If you do run across a situation where you have the rules in the wrong order, and you don't have to do anything hard other than just go move the rules and then run auto note mover on that specific note where you realized your error, and then it will move it to wherever you want it. Okay. Nice and simple. One of the things that I have found to work really well for myself and for Obsidian coaching clients that I work with is to keep my rules set up like this, where I have all the tag rules at the top and then all of the title rules at the bottom. It doesn't have to work that way, but the way I use tags and titles, this works best for me. Titles generally will be added by a primary quick add template. That'll get a note into a really high level folder, and then I can move it into the corresponding subfolder using a tag. If I tried to do that always with tags or always with titles, I could run into stuff like this one where I have to remember, okay, which one do I have to apply in which order? And I have to really think through my workflow. I've just found this works better for me and for most of my clients. But again, personal knowledge management is personal. Do what works best for you. You don't have to do it the way I do it. Once you understand the basic rules and logistics, you can do it however you want to. Finally, I will just give you a little heads up that even though you're using tags to move things around, you can also use tags for another purpose, which is to help you find notes and group them together. So let's say, for instance, I wanted this note eventually to appear on the project slash, and this is a meeting note for the onboarding project. Now, this is something that I actually make use of in my actual Vault. I tag projects with their specific project tag, and then I will also tag any meetings related to that project with either that project tag or with the meeting tag. I almost always use the meeting tag, occasionally a little sloppy. So I have a data view query, which is the plugin that you would use to do that. I haven't done a video series on data view in my very long list of videos to do, but you can find lots of great resources about using data view. I absolutely recommend checking out Nicole Vanderhoven's work with data view. It's exceptional, and I will do my best to link to one of her videos that is a really good overview of data view up above or in the description below, or maybe both. We'll see what happens. I hope you found this video helpful and that Auto Note Mover can help you automate some of the things you want to do in Obsidian. The next video in the series will be about the Quick Add plugin and how I can use that on its own and in combination with Auto Note Mover to put things where I want them at the moment that I create them, which is, of course, always the ideal, so I don't have to keep moving things around. Don't forget to check out the article that accompanies this video. You will find it linked in the description below. It has some additional examples and other references in it that I didn't cover in the video. If you found this video helpful, I hope that you will like or share it. And don't forget to subscribe and even hit that bell for notifications so that you get notified anytime I add a new video. Until next time, take care, everybody.